So as well as the books and the blogs and the Western, medication or Western treatment information, as well as the Eastern Ayurveda treatment information, I also have worked with Listening to Smile to prepare 2 albums or 2 guided meditation albums, which essentially they use specially curated frequency music and tracks which all have a specific intention or purpose within a cellular level within our body, and also to affect our, the way we feel and the emotions, and it provides essentially healing and relaxation to our system at a level that is happening subtly or in a way that we may not necessarily be able to see. But with those tracks, I have recorded some guided meditations with specific intentions. Now, they are specific for postnatal depression because they were perhaps aspects that I felt I needed at the time. But instead of, listening to beautiful music or bringing in that softness in my environment at home, all I did was sit and ruminate in my room, in silence, by myself, festering upon my thoughts, festering on how anxious I felt, how awful I felt, focusing on, spiraling thoughts. So I created these albums as I know, or I felt that they were tools that would have provided me some respite and some solace, and would have helped to guide my misguided thoughts that were running amok along a very guided pathway, one that would promote relaxation, promote calming my system that was severely aggravated and out of balance. So, they're very specially curated tracks that I felt was a missing link in the resources that were available for me during my illness. And not only for me, definitely I would recommend listening to them with earphones, the guided meditations, but also within the room itself, because the music and the softness and the words would help change the energy within the room. It would bring a softness to the whole environment, so that your children, your husband, anyone in your home would experience the benefits of that softness and that calm environment. So, we did not benefit from silence in our house or just the TV blaring, during when I was unwell. It honestly didn't serve any purpose other than aggravate my already aggravated nervous system. I felt like if someone had steered me into utilizing the right tools, then, perhaps there would have been more respite, or, I wouldn't have suffered as badly as I did, because I just was sitting in my room festering over my thoughts. So these particular albums that I've created, the guided meditations, there's 6 tracks on those. One is for relaxing the nervous system. One is a guided meditation to release anger, shame, guilt. So it's a very specific one to help clear the layers that you may be holding on to. There's a beautiful guided meditation about feeding. So one of the aspects that I had trouble with was that I felt so awful that my body was unable to breastfeed my children. So I created a guided meditation to listen to whilst feeding. So I was infusing the milk that I was feeding my boys with the energy and intention of love and nourishment and nurturing. And, that is the gift that I feel would help so many mothers in whichever way that you're feeding your baby, because it's a beautiful connective and bonding tool that, aside from scrolling through Facebook or, doing whatever it is, Googling their latest symptom, while we're feeding, we can actually make that a really bonding and connective experience. And this is one of the aspects of disconnection that happened in postnatal depression that I felt was a missing link as well. So, one of my reflections was that I needed to bring that kindness and that forgiveness and that compassion to myself for not being able to breastfeed my baby, but to still, nourish them as best as I could with the intention of love. And so that's another track that we focus on. But there are 6 different tracks, so you can purchase them individually. So it's through Bandcamp. It's a platform that is, I guess, holding my album. So you can purchase the tracks individually. If there's one that gravitates towards you, there's one that you can play to sample as well, if that's something that you want to do. But also, it's something that you can play whilst you're trying to sleep to help focus your mind. If you're particularly spiraling or feeling like your thoughts are taking you in a direction that isn't serving you, pop them on, go for a walk. It's a tool to add in conjunction with Western allopathic treatments. It's a tool to utilize in conjunction with all the other things that you're doing. So it's something that I knew that I needed at that time. So again, have created it because it's a very specific intention and focus, and one that was missing when I needed it. The other album is for sleep. So I had the worst insomnia. I could not sleep at all. So for 11 weeks, I literally couldn't sleep. It didn't matter if I was on medication for sleep from my doctor. Nothing worked until my biochemistry had been fixed. So at week 11, I slept. I was in tremendous sleep debt, but so grateful that, when my head hit the pillow, I could sleep rather than being crippled with my anxiety. I just literally, night was actually the worst for me because my thoughts were spiraling. There was no distractions. It was me, my body. Could palpably feel that heaviness on my chest. I would toss and turn, and it was horrible. I just remember cringing every time, I heard, my sons basically move or make a noise, and I just, would basically put my head under the covers, just trying to hide and disappear from it all. So this is an album, that has words of affirmation there's 4 tracks of different frequency music, and essentially they've got beautiful messages of almost self-love and connection, and words of softness and kindness and compassion, and really with the intention of trying to sleep, but also creating a beautiful soft atmosphere that you can play in the room, and everyone in that room will benefit. So your baby is getting messages of, I love you, you are so loved, you are so wanted, you are deserving of health and wellness. So things like that. There's affirmations which are on specially curated tracks that is a longer album that on your device, or however it is that you choose to listen to music, that you can put on repeat, or and create an ongoing playlist through the night. So you could use it for nap time, and it was really, again, another tool that I felt was missing when I needed it. I couldn't sleep, but it's all well and good to say, yes, you need to sleep, and I was given countless opportunities to sleep even alone in case the baby was distracting me, but really it was until my biochemistry resolved, I couldn't. So yes, sleep is one of the pillars of health in Ayurveda. Sleep hygiene and sleep is a huge factor in even Western treatment Western health and wellness. It's something that we would always look at in terms of sleep hygiene and strategies to encourage good quality and restful sleep. But when you cannot sleep, when you're riddled with anxiety, and insomnia is, a horrible symptom to have, what do you do? So this is a practical tool that I wished I was available when I was unwell. And so that is something that has been specially curated for women who would have that disconnection and have, the trouble sleeping, but also it's just a support tool that I wished was available. So I've created it so it hopefully gives you some solace, hopefully gives you some sleep. It's filling that huge disconnection void that exists currently, between mother and child through postnatal depression, the cruelest symptom of all. But this is actually a tool that can help bridge that gap. It is giving yourself, the mother, it's giving softness within, so your partner and or husband can listen as well in the room, but so that your beautiful baby is getting such beautiful, soulful, kind, amazing words that you may not feel like saying yourself. And I get that. But this is something that at least they're getting those subtle messages of love and connection. And it's something that, I think addresses a real symptom of the condition that hasn't been made available yet. So here it is. Again, I believe you can purchase one track at a time. There's 4 tracks on that album. But yes, that's on Bandcamp, and I collaborated with Listening to Smile. And there's a little brief explanation about the frequencies chosen and what effect that they have on a very subtle subconscious level, to help bring some softness and respite in the background. So that's another tool that I hope can help in your recovery journey.